All right. Cheers, everybody, with a nice country style mug here. Hopefully, y'all can hear me okay. Here's a good old fashioned sip for all you that hate slurpers. Perfect. That was for all the slurp haters out there. Wanted to get that out of the way. So, welcome. So, what I wanted to do here was kind of talk about my experience so far and figure this whole setup out, actually. So, there'll be a lot going on. This will get adjusted. I'm sure it'll be better if it was here, but that just is kind of ridiculous. So, I'm going to deal with the echo today. There's a little echo. It's okay. I'm on my way to become an aircraft maintenance technician. Okay, so I want to talk about that. I am also a private pilot working toward instrument rating currently and commercial CFI, multi, all the stuff. Eventually, I'd like tailwheel, float plane, all the fun stuff, right? And I started that in 2023. I'd say with timelines and stuff. I actually did my ground school back in 2014, paid for by my grandmother, who's a pilot, and then I got back into it. So here we are, pursuing all the pilot things. But like I said, the aircraft maintenance technician thing kind of happened because of that. As anyone that's gotten into the industry or just looking at the industry knows, aviation is not cheap. And figuring out how you want to pay for that, whether it be a loan or work, you got to decide, right, how you're going to do it. Or maybe you just have a chunk of money sitting around, and that's fantastic. Me, I was working and paying as I was going. I have a brother who flies cargo now on the 777. He did private at a mom and pop and then went to a flight school and knocked his stuff out. That wasn't in the cards for me, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. So I was paying as I was going as a CrossFit coach and decided, well, it's going to take me a few years to get this done. What else could I be doing on the side to assist with this dream, this goal, right? And it just so happens that if you already know this is just something to review. Those of you guys that don't know this, it's 30 months on the job training, and then you test if you want to be an A&P, Airframe and Powerplant mechanic, right? To do your general, your Airframe, and your Powerplant tests. There's 3 tests. So 30 months to do all 3. And I started looking at businesses locally and having conversations. And through those conversations, found it's going to be hard to come across an on-the-job learning experience that can pay you to, live, basically, and you be able to pay your bills and keep doing what you're doing without going into starvation mode, and doing it in a timely manner. So fumbled around with that for a little bit. I would say at the end of 2023, I decided I wanted to do that. That was a few months after I got my license, my pilot's license. And early 2024, ran into a guy and eventually got set up with people over at FlexJet. They are based out of Cleveland. So I got the opportunity to interview and was a recipient of one of the positions for their new apprenticeship program that is in affiliation with Purdue University, which is really cool. Most people probably don't know that's a program because it just started. But there's a lot of ways to go about it. It's just, having the conversations with the right people and looking. But fortunately for me, I was able to find this one, and I want to talk about that a little bit. and kind of give you guys an overview of what I've found. If anyone else out there is looking to pursue their AMT aircraft maintenance technician certificates or licenses, right? So that's basically my experience so far. Pilot, I did work at Next 10 Aerospace. We worked on the Starlink program for a lot of jets. We do Gulfstreams, Global Express, and some other stuff that we have some STCs for. So we were working on that, and I was involved in that a little bit, and that was my first aviation job while waiting for FlexJet to start their program, because Next 10 is owned by FlexJet. They're technically like the same thing now, but that's neither here nor there. The program's opened up. I'm in it. I am 2 months in now, and just want to talk about that a little bit. So goals and timelines. I'm 2 months in. That means we have technically 28 months left. If I started in 2025, that puts me all the way. 2026 will be 1 year, right? When 2026 happens, at the beginning of 2027, that'll be 2 years. So it'll be about halfway, a little bit more than halfway through 2027 when I test. So that's the timeline. And in that timeline, I'd like to also get my instrument in commercial. I want all those things to happen at the same time, ideally, for me. So if all planning goes correctly, I'll be able to knock out enough hours and have enough money putting it into it that I will have the A and P Airframe Powerplant in the 30 months, and also my instrument in commercial, and hopefully, CFI, so I can start instructing or, get a job doing something. What to expect out of an AMT apprentice position. Here comes another slurp. You ready? First thing to expect is not to know jack, basically. I came in and was surprised, I guess. Kind of. I guess I shouldn't have been, but the lack of depth people had in aviation. Like, they hired people in the apprenticeship program that couldn't name a single control surface on the airplane, which, if you're someone who's not in aviation, that makes sense. I don't expect people to know, aileron. You don't know the elevators. You don't know what flaps are. I mean, you might have heard these things. Rudder. You've heard these things maybe thrown around, but you probably couldn't pick them out one from another if they're next to each other. So going into it, most people didn't know anything, which was kind of cool because the company was willing to take that on. Me, luckily, having my private pilot's license, had kind of a one-up, which was nice. So use that to my advantage for sure. Kind of navigating my way around the airplane, having some terminology, and have tested with FAA examiners before, so I kind of knew what to expect there, which was cool. FlexJet gave us, as apprentices, we got toolboxes. So they did have a deal with SnapOn. We actually got Matco. The 7 of us at Cleveland Hopkins got Matco. I'm pretty sure that's going to be standard now over at FlexJet, but it's a nice box. They're like 4S, if anyone knows anything about that. And we got like little starter snap-on kit. So we got 2 sets, shallow and deep sockets for 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch ratchets. We got the ratchets. We got a wrench set. We got we got a bunch of random stuff. Safety wire pliers, some different pliers, needle nose, a bunch of other random pliers. But it was enough to get us started for sure. I think so far I've put in another maybe $300 in tools. Definitely grateful that I've received. I bet they gave us probably $3,000 in tools, give or take, maybe a little more. Definitely thankful for that because it relieves some of that pressure. But once you get into it and you're doing your own jobs, you don't want to rely on everyone around you. You know, you hear people say if you borrow it twice or 3 times, it's time to buy it. So that's kind of where I've been. Made a list, and I'm just kind of buying things as I go. So far, I've bought some long neck diagonal cuts from SnapOn and some safety picks, or not safety picks, just picks, a pick set, and a box end wrench for like engine installs. But yeah, you figure it out. If you're getting into it, don't go crazy. Buy the basics if you have to. You don't gotta buy SnapOn. The only reason I am a few things is because they're really nice and it's convenient, and the service guy's right outside. So if I need something, I walk outside and get it. And when I, retire one day or I move on, I will have all the nice stuff. And I invested early, I got it, and I'm good. At home, I don't go that way. I have Craftsman and other stuff. I'll probably end up getting a bunch of Pittsburgh stuff. I don't really care at home. But on the airplane stuff, I'd prefer to have the nice stuff. But call me an idiot, but that's just the way it's been going. Might change things up as we go. Probably will. I want to get a Nipec set. There's a 5-piece Nipec set. There's a bunch of stuff. But I don't get too deep in the weeds here. I wanted this to be like a 10-15 minute video just to kind of cover what I've seen so far. Just go into it. If you're someone who's looking to get into this, open-minded and patient. Ask questions. Don't assume things. Be friendly. And ask people about their experience. Find that if you ask someone about themselves, they will generally give you a good story. So don't be afraid to go out of your way and make those connections, because they're only going to help you down the road. The connections and the people, if you get people to like you, right? And I think that goes for a lot of things. So that's basically all I had so far. Just wanted to go over those couple things. I guess the last thing is we are at FlexJet getting a curriculum written for us, because it is an affiliation with Purdue. We have a professor over there that got hired on with FlexJet, so he has different training modules and stuff, which is really nice. I don't know what to do if you're just going to a mom and pop. Maybe talk to people there. Get the books, the Airframe, the Powerplant books, start going through it. Or talk to other people about what they've done. So that's basically it. If you have any questions about what I'm going through, please ask, right? If you have any questions about where I'm headed, why I'm doing what I'm doing, I ask myself that sometimes in trying to sort it out and figure out kind of the direction I'm headed. We did sign an abatement, a pretty long abatement at FlexJet, so I'll be there for a while, which is fine because my timeline, I have a bunch to finish. So, all right, someone's here. I'm out. Peace.